Hi, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to another session of Anvis Live. And today's topic is a very interesting topic, walking your dog. We'll start off in a few minutes. Before that, I hope everybody's had a good weekend and a nice, lazy Sunday evening. I have been preparing to quarantine myself for 2 weeks because a family member is visiting, and I've been busy stocking up and things like that. And hopefully you guys have had a better weekend. Let's just wait for people to join in. In the meanwhile, if you have joined already, give me a hi in the comment section. There you go. The Anvis team is on. Hi, guys. Waiting. Okay, while we wait, I'm sure different people have different issues with their dogs during a walk. So please prepare yourself to ask me all those questions. And while you ask me that, put in the breed of your dog, age of your dog, and the specific issue that you're facing. That will just help me take your questions quickly. Hi, Malvika. Hi, Ashita. Good to see you guys here. All right. So the topic for today is walking your dog or walking with your dog. Which one would you prefer? Hi, Anand. All right. Let's just get started, right? So today's topic, the first thing I'd like to ask everybody is how often do you walk your dog and how often does your dog walk you? I'm sure many of us are being walked by our dogs. So let's discuss a few topics like that to help solve some issues with walking our dogs. To start with, let's discuss what does a walk really involve, right? Does it involve just going out of the house in a rush, allowing your dog to pee and poo, allowing your dog to drag you, or the walk is all over the place and then you just come back home tired? You're more tired than your dog sometimes. Or your dog just doesn't want to get out and you're tired coaxing your dog to walk, but your dog just doesn't want to walk. So there are so many issues that pet parents face with walking. Let's start with the two important parts of walking. Why are we taking our dogs out for walk? Two absolute necessities are pee and poo. But apart from that, there are two very important parts to walking. One is allowing your dog to sniff around, to smell around. And the second part is the physical exercise that your dog should get. Now, these two things should be well balanced in proportion, and that depends on the breed of your dog, the personality of your dog, the health condition of your dog, and so on, right? So, keep your dog mentally stimulated and give your dog a well balanced walk or run for the physical exercise. These are the two important parts of walking, right? Pee and poo just comes with the walk, right? But make sure you have these two during your walk. Now, going ahead, how would you start your walk, right? Most cases, when you open the door of your house, your dog is just rushing out. And even before you go out of the door, your dog is jumping around and you're trying to leash your dog, and your dog is jumping, the dog is excited, you are asking your dog to calm down, sit down, let me leash you, okay, we'll go. So many conversations, sometimes yelling, and so many things happening, right? Sometimes your dog barks at you because your dog wants to go out. Some dogs whine and they'll keep doing these circles in excitement, right? So, to begin with, before you go out on the walk, even 10-15 minutes before your walk. Your dog's clock is very accurate. If you walk at 7 a.m. in the morning, your dog knows that it's walk time even without looking at the clock. So even 10-15 minutes before the walk, don't make it a big deal. Act like it's no big deal. A walk is no big deal. Pick up the leash even 10 minutes before the walk and just carry the leash around in the house. Don't engage with your dog in any manner. Don't talk to your dog. Don't look at your dog. Don't pay heed to any kind of behavior that your dog is displaying. Just walk around in the house with the leash in the hand, and you're telling the dog, the leash is in my hand. I know it. I know it's walk time, but then just wait, right? So that way, your dog is going to do that initial running around and is going to be excited, and all of that will dissipate in the next 10 minutes. And there will be a little more calmer situation to start the walk, right? So you need to keep calm before the walk, and you need to allow your dog to calm down before the walk. It's always a good habit to have some basic training in place to ask your dog to sit down before you leash your dog, or ask your dog to go down before you leash your dog. Whenever you're leashing your dog, make sure your dog is in a sitting position so that it's just easier to leash and it becomes a habit. Displaying good behavior will take you out for a walk. That's the message that we want to give our dogs. So going ahead, let me see. Hi, Shweta. Hi, Shobit. Welcome to the session. So we will move ahead. Now, once you have leashed your dog, usually what happens? We open the door, and as soon as the dog is able to get his or her head out, the dog is bolting out of the door, dragging you along, right? Most often, that is because your dog wants to go out and relieve itself. But what we want to practice here is not wait until the last minute to take your dog out. Don't wait for that bladder pressure to create before you start your walk, because they're always going to then drag you out of the gate. And it won't be good for us to really hold them back because they really want to relieve themselves at that point. So make sure you have a routine for your walk, and your walk starts way before your dog feels like relieving itself, right? And start from inside the house, start at the door, start at the gate of your compound. First thing you do is hold your dog on a short leash and open your door or gate completely while you're still standing inside the door or the gate, right? Why we do this is you are telling your dog, hold on, right? There is no rush. You don't really have to sneak out of the door. I'm going to open the door completely, and both of us will happily, calmly walk out together. Okay, this will come with practice. Obviously, it's not going to happen on day one. But first thing you need to start with is opening the door completely before starting a walk. It's very important to let the dog know that the whole door is open for you to walk out, and we are surely going to walk out, right? Now, once you have done that, and you've started your walk, it's quite common for the dogs to pull you out, right? So as soon as your dog pulls, and say you have just reached the door or stepped just outside the door, as soon as your dog pulls, stop walking, turn around, and bring your dog back inside the house, right? Bring your dog back inside and start the walk again. Keep repeating this a few times. What we are trying to communicate to your dog is, if you pull, we are going back inside the house. You will notice by the fifth or sixth time, the pulling is going to reduce a bit, right? And as soon as the pulling has reduced, or your dog is walking without any tension on the leash, a few steps ahead, you must continue the walk, right? But again, they might walk a few steps very nicely and easily, but then they'll start pulling again. So that's the point. You need to stop again and come back inside, right? Initially, it's going to be tough. It's going to take a long time to put this pattern in place. You may not cover the distance in your walk that you would have liked to, but practicing this for a few days over time is definitely going to correct this behavior. So every time your dog pulls, you stop, come back inside, take a round, walk right into the door of your house or right into the gate of your house, walk 4-5 steps inside the house, turn around, and then start the walk again. And only if your dog does not pull is when you continue with the walk, right? You take a few steps forward. So your dog is going to learn, if I don't pull, I walk ahead. If I pull, I go back inside the house, right? Consistency again is very, very important. So every time you go for a walk, you have to practice this. And please make sure that your dog is not in a hurry to relieve itself. So start 10-15 minutes early, right? So let me just check if there are any questions. Okay, let's move ahead then. Now, once you're out and you've started your walk, what is the first thing that your dog would like to do? First thing is, they tend to relieve themselves. What is the second most important thing that you'll notice your dog wants to do? Your dog wants to sniff. And then your dog will walk and sniff again and walk and sniff again. Now, the amount of sniffing depends on the breed of the dog as well. You'll see beagles like sticking their nose to their ground and not looking up at all during the walk, because they are scent hounds and they love to sniff. On the other hand, you will see Labradors sniffing, but they'll occasionally look up to see what's happening around them. They look at you, they'll make sure you're walking with them. They have a lot more interaction with their environment. Similarly, you'll see other dogs. Many Indies love to sniff, but there are some Indies who like to just watch what's happening around them. So identify what the breed needs, the needs of the breed, right? The instincts of the breed. And we definitely need to feed that. Sniffing gives them mental stimulation, and walking or running gives them physical exercise. So please allow your dog at the beginning of the walk, please allow your dog to sniff a lot. For one advantage with that is, your dog is going to dissipate a lot of energy when they're sniffing, because it tires them out. It's a sort of mental stimulation. It's one of the best ways to stimulate their mind. So they are going to be more relaxed towards the second half of the walk, because they're already tired. They've worked their mind on sniffing, and the walk is in much control, and you're going to enjoy the walk after that, right? So give a lot of sniffing time to your dog in the beginning. While you do that, for breeds who have the habit of picking up stuff from the road, or going into areas to sniff where it's not safe or where it's dirty, you need to be really alert when you're allowing your dog to sniff. Uh, and you need to get the techniques of walking right during that time. So you need to keep your dog in control, or in on short leash when needed. When you see that there is garbage, or there is something lying on the ground like pieces of glass or something that can harm your dog, you need to keep your dog on a short leash. And if you have a space where your dog can freely sniff around, then you can keep your dog on a longer leash and allow your dog to enjoy sniffing. So please identify areas outside your house during the walk where you can allow your dog to sniff, right? It's very important. uh, it's called walking a dog, but then sniffing is an integral part of this walking, right? So please make sure you do that. Next part is the walking part, right? Now, again, walking or running your dog completely depends on what breed of dog you have, what age of dog you have, health conditions, whether your dog likes to do these things or not. All of that, right? It all depends on what dog you have. Now, I'll give you an example. It's good to go on a jog with your Labrador, right? They enjoy jogging. Whereas beagles, though they are scent hounds, they may not enjoy running at all, running or jogging at all. They'll enjoy long walks, because that's what they were bred to do. They would go sniffing in forests and in jungle areas to find their prey, and in the process, they would walk for miles and miles together, right? So they enjoy walking. Similarly, a pug or a snub-nosed dog, like a pug or a Shih Tzu, cannot be walked for too long. So your distance will be short, but maybe you can, use a short distance outside your house where you can go up and down a few times before your dog is tired. And don't make your dog too tired when you're far away from home, because then bringing them back is going to be difficult. So please make sure you are aware of how much your dog can walk, how much physical exercise your dog really needs. Do not push them overboard, right? Many a times we've heard pet parents say that my dog is okay to go on the walk, but while returning, my dog just plonks, just sits down, does not want to come back at all, right? That is because we may have pushed our dog too far, right? We may have taken them too far away from home, and now they are tired and they really don't want to get up and walk. Big, larger breeds like Saint Bernards, like Great Danes, right? Again, be very careful how far you take them from home, because once they plonk on the road, there is no way you can lift them back and bring them back home, right? They're too heavy for you. So measure the distance that you can go, and all these things need to happen while you're researching the breed that you're bringing home, right? So make sure you have researched the breed, you know what how much your breed can do, how much your dog can do. Do a few trials with your dog before deciding a pattern for everyday walk, right? uh, Next very important thing. Okay, I have a question from Shilpa. Hi Shilpa. How to train adult dog not to pull and walk properly on leash, 1 year plus lab. I will come to that, Shilpa, in a bit. I will be a lot of this. Let me just touch upon it, right? A lot of this depends on the accessory that you're using to walk your dog, because the accessory is an aid to train your dog. It can also be an aid for your dog to pull, right? So I'll just touch upon that. I'll be coming to accessories very soon. So stay tuned. I'll cover your question there. Okay. Uh, Great. So moving on, picking up after your dog, right? This is very, very, very important, and we at Anvis absolutely support this. Picking up after your dog is important because I'd like to ask how many of us like to step on poop accidentally? Uh, I'm not going to raise my hand for that. Second question, how many of us would accidentally like to step on our own dog's poop? We love our dogs, right? But would we like it if we even accidentally step on our own dog's poop? No, not me. So, just as a responsible pet parent, and to keep our surroundings clean, we request pet parents to always pick up after their dogs. You have many different accessories these days to help you do that. You have poop bags. Of course, you must pick up the eco-friendly ones. You have poop scoopers, which looks like those mini cranes, right? You can just pick up the poop using that. You don't even have to bend too much to pick it up, and you can go and dispose it in your toilet and flush it down. Uh, Basically, our society today, we have people who like pets, people who don't like pets, and I have seen in most apartment complexes and in most societies, people are against pets for one major reason, right? Pets poop all around in the walking area or in the garden, and the poop is just lying there, and people's kids come out to play, people come out to walk, and they don't like seeing poop there, right? So just to make it easier for our pets, right? To help people accept our pets, to help pets be accepted in society. These are the small little things that will really go a long way. In my society, I pick up poop instantly. Like, there are many ways, right? If you have a newspaper, you can actually slip the newspaper just behind the dog's bum when they're pooping. So I do that all the time, right? If I don't have a poop bag, if I've run out of a poop bag, or the scooper's broken, that's one way of doing it. Uh, but definitely find a way of picking up after your dog. If you want to go leave your dog back home and then come back and pick up poop, it's absolutely fine. But please do pick up after your dogs. It's very important. When people see you doing that, they actually, their acceptance of your pets being around is much more. And this is, I'm speaking from experience because I've had first-hand experience in my society. Now nobody bothers me when I'm walking my dogs because they know that there'll be no poop lying around. Okay, the other major thing during a walk is your walk with your dog becomes easier when you have bonded with your dog. And a good way to bond with your dog outdoors is to run basic commands like sit, stay, a few, like two or three basic commands outdoors. What this does is, firstly, it builds your bond with your dog. Secondly, you're making sure your dog listens to you during a walk. It's very important from a safety standpoint, and it's also important from the surrounding standpoint. Like if you're walking your dog in a place where other people are walking, and your dog has this habit of getting very excited while seeing other humans and lunging at them, uh, these commands, running basic commands like sit, will help evade those kind of situations. If your dog has the habit of going at some other dog, or if your dog has the habit of just running towards something that your dog likes, running towards another dog, and your dog has to cross the road sometimes with you, running basic commands with them at these times will go a long way for the dog's safety, as well as you having control on your dog during these activities. Yes, and Anand, our pack leader, says this is his favorite topic. So poop picking is his favorite topic because the shit is close to his heart, like we always say. Right. So moving on, the next thing that I'll be coming to is the accessory bit. So I'll be answering Shilpa's question here. So, using the right accessory for your dog. Why is this important? Right? This is important because, again, like I said, it's an aid to train your dog or to control your dog. If you have a dog that pulls, Shilpa, especially that does happen with labs a lot. If they are on a harness and you're taking them on a walk, I'm sorry, they will definitely pull. That is because a harness is aiding them to pull. It is not stopping them from pulling. Imagine I give you a large tire and I give you two ropes that you can hold around your shoulder and pull, right? And imagine I give you the same tire and I ask you to put it around your neck and then pull. Which one would be easier for you, right? Putting it around your shoulder or using your body to pull that weight is much easier, right? So that is what I mean when I say you're aiding your dog to pull when you're using a harness on a dog that pulls, right? So please do not use a harness on a dog that pulls, because you cannot train a dog not to pull on a harness. Instead, shift to a collar, shift to a soft textile collar. You can use a martingale collar, which is a half choke and a half collar, which means when your dog pulls, it's not going to choke your dog completely, right? So talk to experts, pick up the right accessory for your dog. And it is going to change the way your dog walks, because you will have more control. So a dog, while walking, if you see the dog will walk where it's looking, right? If it looks to the right, it will continue walking to the right. So a dog's body goes where the head goes. That's right, Shilpa. It's the martingale collar. Right. Again, you need to take your dog along to the store if you're purchasing a martingale collar, because it needs to be of the right size. But if your dog is an adult dog, and you can also go in for a normal collar, whichever fits your dog correctly, right? If you can get the right fit of martingale collar for your dog, nothing like it. I have another question. How do you decide how long can you walk your dog? I walk my lab 3 times a day, and each walk is about 45 minutes. He seems to enjoy since he doesn't show any cues of going back. That's right, right? All dogs, most dogs love the outdoors, especially labs, that love people, labs like other dogs. So they're very friendly dogs, so they will definitely love the outdoors. So I just covered this topic, Malvika. So the amount of walking that your dog needs depends on the breed of your dog, depends on how active your dog is, depends on how old your dog is, depends on any health issues that your dog may have, right? So you need to know your dog very well to decide on how much of sniffing and how much of walking you want to give them. For a lab, 3 times a day, 45 minutes is great, right? Because I'm sure at the end of this, you have a very well behaved lab at home, because you have dissipated all that energy, you have given him what he needs, and he's a happy dog at the end of the day. Once he comes back home, I'm sure that the amount of distraction is less. He's much calmer, he's much willing to listen to you, and he's much in control after the walks. That's a good thing that you're doing. Please carry on with it. Okay. The other thing is, okay, I have another question from Manita. Hi, Manita. Is it okay to occasionally let your dog choose which way they want to go and lead the way? Absolutely. It is, in fact, a good idea to change directions, because, they get bored of sometimes they may get bored of the same question. Sorry, of the same route, right? So it's great to change directions. But during the walk, you want to be in control, right? Your dog can tell you, I want to go take a right turn from here and not a left turn. But as soon as you take a right turn, again, you need to be walking with your dog, and you need to make sure your dog is not pulling you, dragging you, your dog is not picking stuff up from the road. Your dog is not going into spaces that you don't want your dog to go into, right? So it's absolutely necessary that you are alert and your dog is walking with you. You need to learn. So that brings me to the next topic, which is the techniques of walking, right? We You'll hear a lot of people, a lot of experts talking about walking on short leash and walking on long leash. You need to know when you need to get control of your dog, and that is when you need to walk your dog on a short leash. For example, when you're crossing the road, you definitely want your dog very close to you and holding your dog on a short leash. It doesn't matter whether your dog walks well, does not walk well. It is just a good habit, and for the safety of the dog, that you walk your dog very close to you. When your dog is in a space where there is no danger, you want your dog to smell around, you want your dog to enjoy the nature. It's absolutely fine to keep your dog on a loose leash, but again, it doesn't mean that your dog should be dragging you, right? Again, bringing your dog on a short leash is when you know your dog is going to lunge at some human walking by. Not all humans would enjoy that, right? You may scare somebody. So quickly bringing your dog to a short leash when you see a human coming, and then going back to a relaxed leash or a long leash once the human has passed by. Or if you know that this happens a lot with my friends' dogs, right? They have their favorite home in the neighborhood. They either like the auntie in that house, or they like the other dogs in that house, or there's something attractive that's there in the house. And as soon as you're crossing that place, the dog drags you into their house, right? And many times it has happened that that house has had guests, and suddenly this dog is just running in from nowhere and scaring people. So during these times, when you know your dog is going to react to something, just bring your dog on a short leash, keep your dog close to you. You're basically restricting the dog from jumping or dragging you to those places, and quickly walk past that area. And when your dog is much relaxed, and you know that he has nowhere to go now, he just wants to enjoy, you can leave him on a loose leash. Like dog parks, also you need to be very careful. You need to know how other dogs behave as well, so keep an eye on behavior of other dogs. Sometimes other dogs will instigate your dog, right? So you need to know when to take control of your dog, and when you need to let your dog relax. Great. Manita, yes, it's absolutely fine to go where your dog wants to go, but make sure you're walking with your dog and your dog is not dragging you. Yeah. Great to be. I'm just going to check if you have more questions. Okay, Malvika, if your dog does have hip dysplasia, I would strongly recommend you check with the vet as to how much walk your dog needs, because it again depends on the condition. So please check with your vet and go by what your vet says. If your vet says don't take your dog out for long walks, then maybe you want to stay out for longer, but you just want your dog to sit in a place and enjoy the environment, right? Just look at people, look at other dogs, sniff around. It need not be a brisk walk or too much of a physical exercise for your dog once you're outdoor. You're welcome, Manita. I have one more. This is from Shobit. Drogo is a little monster on walks. True to his spaniel nature, he loves just scrambling about on his walks. How do I make sure that I don't discourage his normal behavior, but at the same time retain some control over the way he walks? Thanks for the question, Shobit. Again, I know Drogo is a Cocker Spaniel. Yes, we just discussed that, right? Just follow the routine of stopping when your dog is pulling you and starting your walk only when your dog relaxes, right? You're going to see some amount of tension when your dog is pulling. There'll be tension on your leash will be stretched, and you just need to stop and wait for your dog to relax. So when you see that your leash is also relaxed is when you should restart your walk, right? Never continue to walk when your dog is pulling, because then that pulling will never stop. To stop the pulling, you need to stop walking, right? And you need to keep repeating this every time your dog pulls. It may be really frustrating in the beginning, and it may take really long to complete your walk. And you may not walk at all to begin with, right? Because your dog is constantly pulling and you're constantly stopping. So what you can do is you can actually stop and walk backwards to tell the dog that if you're going to pull, I'm going to walk backwards towards home, right? Walk backwards 5 steps, turn around, and start walking again. 2 things will happen when you do this. One is you're discouraging your dog from walking ahead if he or she pulls. And the second thing is 5 steps backwards every time he pulls is also going to dissipate his energy and make him tired. So say 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes into the walk will be a little more relaxed, right? Because you're already dissipating his energy. You're walking maybe just 500 meters, but because of the loops that you're taking, you would have already walked a kilometer, right? So that's so just try that out and let me know if that works. Okay, do I have any other questions? Okay, we have one question from Shilpa. How do I train my dog to ignore strays on the walk, or how to manage safe walk with pack of strays or chasing or following? Again, Shilpa, this is something that cannot be solved completely, is because the second party to the walk is a pack of stray, right? And we have no control on how the pack of stray is going to behave. But you definitely can control your own dog. The first thing I would suggest is the area that you're walking. If it has a lot of strays, the best thing is to avoid, if you can, choose a different route to walk, to do your walks, because the best thing that you can do here is ignore or just completely walk away from that situation. The second thing is you must definitely carry a stick or something with you to stray dogs sometimes follow because they expect food or they want to sniff your dog and things like that. But just to make sure that they're not coming too close to you, please do carry a stick with you at all times. Now another thing with managing your dog, right? Whenever you see strays, it's best to ignore the stray as well as ignore the behavior of your dog. Don't make it a big deal. Don't tell your dog, okay, now let's go. Don't look at the strays, and because they get intimidated by that. Even if they get up and walk towards you, watch them from the corner of your eye. Do not make direct eye contact. Stay calm. Keep your dog on a short leash so that your dog doesn't lunge at them or intimidate them. Keep your dog on a short leash and quickly Now, when I say quickly walk past, it just needs to be a normal brisk walk. It shouldn't look like you're running away, because then, again, that can intimidate the strays. So just calmly, quickly walk past that area. But do definitely carry a stick with you or something to scare the strays away. The other thing is, if you're ever in trouble, uh, don't shy away from asking for help, uh, from people who are walking on the road, or from a house that's close by. Just ask for help. And I've had times when I've really screamed out to people on the road, and asked them to help me, because these dogs just wouldn't move away. But if you can find another route, an alternative route where you can walk your dog, that would be the best thing to do. Because, like I said, we don't have control on how the strays are going to behave, right? Hope I have answered some parts of your question there. Okay, we have one question from Dipali. Hi, Dipali. Which is the right age for a lab puppy to go out on his first walk? Any guidelines for his first walk? So Dipali, walking is actually a part of training your dog, right? So as soon as your dog comes home, you can actually start, because your dog is going to be a really tiny one. You can actually start, leashing your dog at home, and practicing while you're doing toilet training at home. You can practice walking your dog to the balcony or to the bathroom that you want your dog to use, right? So it's not necessary that walking, you have to teach your dog the techniques of walking only outside the house. You can start with inside the house as soon as your dog is home, as soon as you've brought your puppy home. And about outside, uh, vets suggest that we don't take our dogs out before all their first set of vaccinations are completed. But you can definitely take your dog to a parking area, or a garden area where other dogs do not come, especially strays, right? If there is a place in your, if you're living in an apartment complex, or if you're living in an independent house, if there are places outside your house where there are no other dogs that have access to that area, you can take your puppy there. This is because your puppy can pick up viruses and diseases from other dogs uh, before they get vaccinated. But you can definitely take them out to an area, or take them to a place where there's a bench, and both of you can just sit and watch people pass by, and vehicles pass by, and things like that. But definitely you can start leash training at home, right? You can practice it from one end of the hall to the other end of the hall. You can practice taking the dog to the balcony. You can practice taking the dog from one room to another room on a leash, all the time using the techniques of walking that you would outside the house. Hope I've answered your question, Dipali. Great. So that's the end of the questions. Now, we were talking about accessories, right? So I'll just go back to that quickly. Right. So we spoke about harness, right? Another very common issue that pet parents have is, while on the walk, the dog turns around, grabs the leash, and starts tugging on it and starts biting on it. And the situation becomes really uncomfortable on the road to manage, right? Again, you have accessories to help you solve that problem. Accessories like half chain and half leash, right? You have a chain section that connects to the collar of the dog. So each time the dog turns around and bites the chain, it's uncomfortable in the dog's mouth, and the dog lets go of the chain, right? So that struggle of taking out the leash from the dog's mouth, asking the dog to behave, asking the dog not to do that, it all magically goes away with that one accessory. So it's very, very important that you pick the right accessory for your dog, depending on the personality, the nature, behavior, breed, and all of that put together, right? So if you have any doubts about it, please do talk with experts on how to pick up the right accessory for your dog, because it makes a lot of difference during a walk. A lot of problems are solved just by changing accessories, right? So, yep. That brings us to the end of our topics. And if just give me a moment. Let me just quickly check if there are more questions. So if I've missed your question, I would request you to just copy and paste it again so that it's on top of the comments and I can quickly grab it and go through it. Great. I don't think there are more questions, but if there are, if I've missed any, we will come back to you with an answer. So that brings us to the end of the session. Hope you will have a good time walking with your dog and not just walking your dog. We at Anvis have, please mention the name of the collar again. It's a martingale collar. I'm just going to type it. Again, yeah, I've typed it in the comments section, so you can take a look at it. We do have a brilliant walking course on our website, which talks about the different scenarios, right? Walking a lazy dog, walking a hyper dog, how you can, dogs that lunge at other dogs, dogs that lunge at other humans, dogs that sniff a lot, dogs that have anxiety to go out. We have explained in detail in that course how to manage these different situations, and it is available on the website that's flashing on your screen right now. Please go and take a look. And we also have experts, our pack leader Anand, our experts like Preeti and myself, who also do consultations on different aspects of dog behavior and bringing up your dog. So please feel free to reach out to us. We are available to help you out with that. And yes, we're right on time. Hope all of you have a great day ahead, a great evening, and a good working week. See you all next time. Bye bye.